Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We have a list of 24 properties and they cover the whole weekend, including yesterday. So it's a 3-day weekend. The snow day really messed a lot of people up. It was like a Super Bowl long weekend. And regardless of how you felt about the outcome, if you were cheering for one or the other, you got to admit it was a pretty good game, very entertaining, and even the halftime show was pretty good. Maybe not as good as Bruno Mars, but still pretty awesome. So let's get started with today's list. Now we've got two one-bedroom condos at Costigan. First one is Unit 314. It would be easy enough to put laminate or hardwood floors here. You've got your granite counters, you've got your 9-foot ceilings, and for some reason people always put the lobby, and that's probably the sparsest exercise room I could possibly imagine, so it's not like that's a big draw. Not a lot of amenities in this building, and the condo fees are low, not as low as Green Life, but they're still not bad compared to other buildings. So, $269. The problem I have with this one is the one bedroom, 811 square feet, including balcony. Do not put the balcony square footage in with the inside square footage. It's just not a good idea. It's not the same value for the space, and it's just misleading. So that's unfortunate they did that. Now we also have Unit 214. It's also at $269, and they're also showing shots of the lobby, which for some reasons, now funny enough, they've actually added a machine since the other pictures were taken. That looks like a 1970s hood fan. Could be a retro modern kind of thing. Nice finishes inside. The way these windows are is you've got to think that maybe it's overlooking some part. There might be something, yeah, like if you look at this, there could be some little outcropping which is causing those windows to be a little bit off, but you might get partial green space views. What I like about this one compared to the other one is you have two underground parking spots, which is good, and you should, depending on how it's registered, you should be able to sell that second parking spot to somebody who has a bigger unit, because typically the one-bedroom condos, they're not always in need of a second spot. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Anyway, it's a good feature. It's probably worth in this building somewhere around $10,000. So for that, I'll give this one the edge. Next up, same price, $269. If you're not into condos, this is pretty much your lowest price alternative on Wilson. You go over to Bronte or Childs, you're going to pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more for a condo townhouse with a garage. The difference here, it's electric baseboard heat. Anywhere around Woodward, Wilson, generally you're looking at that. What it means is it could mean more expensive heating if you run it constantly like you would a gas furnace. You've got to be very mindful of when you have that system on and when you don't. Beyond that, it's actually a very clean system of heating, and the baseboards are very low cost to repair. You put a new furnace in, it's $5,000. You put a new baseboard in, you're usually a couple $100. So that can be a pro when you're talking about replacement cost. Get a couple building lots on Bronte. Now it is a busier street. This is not prime building lot because the people who build custom homes generally don't want to face a busier road. But that being said, there's still value. There's a lot of good things happening on Bronte. The hospital expansion, you've got all the development on the other side. You've got good commercial. You can walk to a lot of things. You're not far from downtown. So that's all good. Generally, you're looking at somewhere between about $160 and $200 a square foot to build. So if you buy this lot, you want to put a 2,000 square foot home, provided that the zoning and the lot coverage is all safe and sound, then you might be looking at another $350,000 to $400,000 in building cost. And the other thing is when you're buying vacant land, the nice thing about this one, although you're probably not going to get an assist from the listing, however, when you go to get financing, if they consider this to be vacant land, you got to put a lot more down payment than if this was a house that you purchased and it was considered residential financing. Vacant land, banks do not like to finance it. Yet another one on Ambassador, 329, 888. It's on the 6th floor, and it looks like you're getting an extra foot-high ceiling. The doors are a little bit higher. There's no inside shots here. But this is pretty much, this is 800 square feet. It's got the green space, which is good, but that's very small for $330,000. That's almost green life money. Let's see what happens with it. To me, it seems a little bit high. And it's weird because it says approximately 800 square feet in the description. However, it says 1,000 square feet over here. If it's 1,000 square feet, they're in the game for sure. 800 square feet might be a little tough. Another ambassador. There's a lot of them for some reason. 345,990. The same. These are terrible pictures, like a blurry shot. Even the fridge, like they've ripped half of the plastic off, they've left half of it on. That's brutal. That's just, there's no excuse for this. I'm going to talk about the floor plan for this unit in just a second. Toilet seats up, just terrible. Unfortunate because, you know, I mean, your pictures are your first showing. You've got to make them good if you have any chance of being successful on a sale. Now here's the same floor plan. Sorry I'm focusing so much on this building. Anyway, in the last description it was funny because they said this building has garbage chutes because there's actually a building on Costigan that does not have garbage chutes. So it's a little bit of a ribbing at a previous phase. Anyway, this one looks like it, well, here's the thing. Here's the problem I have with this floor plan. You have a kitchen here, living dining L-shaped. It's completely, to me, almost bordering on unusable space. This is a very narrow area right here. You've got your mechanicals right here, which cuts off on this room. You can't even do anything in this corner. This area, to me, is all wasted space. You can't put an eat-in table here because then you're blocking your master bedroom doorway. Even this area right here, I just find that they could have improved the space so much more. Anyway, it's not my favorite floor plan by any means. It has the 2 parking spots, which we talked about the value for that. I would be very surprised if this one went anywhere near 409. I just don't see it happening. Now, Cabot Trail is very interesting. There's no photos of this home. It's at 499. It's a double car garage. It's on a huge 72 by 170 foot property. That's massive. And so there's a finished basement, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't expect much from the inside of this home. The location, the only thing that would put the brakes on for me would be the fact, this is 838 right here. Cabot Trail, you have the Main Street properties right here. So these are all commercial properties along Main Street. They are also in an intensification zone where they could build up to 4 stories. So that could obviously change the enjoyment for a property like this. You are very close to, you could walk to Starbucks, you could walk to the GO train, walk to the library, the Center for the Arts, the Leisure Center. It's a super location. The only thing is, do you mind having a taller building in your backyard? Probably not next year, not even 5 years from now, but at some point it could happen. Now, I don't think we've seen a home on Swan Crescent in a very long time. It's a street where people stay, and there's stability there. It's a very quiet crescent. There's some good parks nearby. It's a little less than 1,400 square feet. You've got a long living dining room split in half by this little sort of opening. Then you've got a kitchen with a small space for an eat-in. California shutters. They've done a good job in this home, but I'm just not sure the size of this home is going to be big enough to push a buyer up to this kind of price level. The finished basement's going to help, and move-in ready always commands a premium. The nice thing is the next best thing to a double car garage is side-by-side parking, and so they've got that, which is a good thing. Now, Jarrett Crossing is a very interesting home because it looks like a townhouse or a semi-detached. I think they need to be overt about the fact that this is a double car garage home. So it's attached on this side, then the garage is over here. There it is right there. So they are on the second shot, but I think that this would have been a better first shot. You don't really have a backyard here. Because your garage is separate, it eliminates some of your, like it creates a bigger footprint for the house. This is called a courtyard right here. And so if you're not into backyards, this can be a great home because it has a wide open layout. There's a ton of main floor space here. 4 bedrooms upstairs, about 2,400 square feet. So if this was a fully detached home, not a semi, you could expect this one to be in probably the 620 to 650 range. So I think they've applied the right amount of discount, especially having the finished basement here. So I think they're going to do well. It might be a chance for somebody to get into a double car garage with this kind of size and not pay the detached price. We don't see many of these, maybe a couple a year. I think it's got a real chance at doing well at this price. And I have a feeling, because you get a good sense after seeing a lot of homes, I have a feeling this one would even look better in person than it does in the photos. Now, I won't spend too much time on this one because we've got a big list, but Etherington created a toilet paper pyramid on the toilet. It says it's almost 3,000 square feet. It's not quite at that level, and it's got a finished basement. There's some nice finishes at $749, but that toilet paper pyramid to me was one of the most entertaining things in today's list. I'm really liking this one on Wheelahan. The problem I have with it is these are all grassy pictures, and when you have 2 feet of snow on the ground and you're showing grass, even though you're a new listing, people are going to think that you've been out for a while. At $850 to get a triple car garage, you just don't see it very often. You've got a stone fireplace here. Cabinets are a little bit dated, but you could work with those. Wood, you can work with it. You could restain, you could paint. About $100 a door is a good estimate for something like that. Change the appliances out. But the most important thing is the layout, the size. It's a 1.2 acre property. And overall, I would say this one represents some very good value. This is a great shot right here. You've got your walkout in the basement, and you're pretty close to the highway too. That's the plus and minus about Campbellville, is you are close to 401, so you get some noise. It's not always the tranquil country, but it is much less time to get to work for something like this versus going all the way up to Brookville or Rockwood or anything like that. I like this one. I think it's a good price. Now, I've been waiting for this one on Forbes to post photos. It's the Forest collection is a pretty rare thing, and the people that bought the homes back onto Forest paid big money to Heathwood for that privilege. So whether they get it all back, we've only seen a handful of sales because most people moved into these homes and that's where they're staying. It's got a finished basement. It's more than 3,000 square feet. It's also at $999, which would put it in a very elite category of maybe only 10 to 12 homes that have ever hit over $900,000. So all depends on the photos. So that's the list for today. If you want to see anything in this list at all, or anything that's listed on the market, period, we will be right there with you. We could show it to you. We could make sure that you have the right information to make a decision. And if you want daily updates of homes that match your specific buying criteria, you can go to miltonmarketwatch.com and just fill in the form. We'll get that started for you. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.